Video streaming site Netflix reported second quarter revenue of $1.6 billion, now topping 65 million subscribers. Here to help break it all down is Bloomberg's Cory Johnson. For Netflix, the story is still subscriber growth. When does that change?
Well, I don't know. I mean, this is a story that makes me a little
65 million.
Yeah, 65 million. So, you know, Netflix
Paying
says
$8 or $9 a month.
Does this include my parents who use my login?
It does include them. You're not counted twice. It's 60. But one of the things they do, first of all, there are a bunch of free subscriptions in there, which is an interesting thing that I'll take a look at a little bit later on Bloomberg TV. But I think that one of the things when we look at this company, Netflix says, don't look at our revenue growth. Certainly don't look at our profits. And you don't even want to look at, if you've had lunch, maybe a big breakfast, don't look at the free cash flow results. It's not going to make you feel good. They had over $200 million in negative free cash flow this quarter. They say look at the subscription numbers, and in particular, look at international subscription numbers. And those numbers were good. Indeed, that growth reaccelerated. So they added 2.4 million subscribers in the quarter. And the growth rate, and I think this is the most important thing from the positive side, that the growth rate had been slowing down, but picked up again. I think they went from like 64% year-over-year growth to 67% year-over-year growth in international subscribers. And that's a good sign, because no one really knows how big the international market's going to be for them.
But they're not like a social network. They shouldn't have to reach scale before making money. They should be profitable with every new subscriber, right?
So you would think they would want to tell us, or those of us who care about the company, and those analysts who want to understand the business, what their content costs are. But they don't, or barely do. Hidden in their 10Q, which is yet to be filed, is a number called commitments and contingencies. And this is the amount they have contractually said they're going to spend on content. So they've signed contracts with Warner Brothers, with Sony, with original content providers to buy this content. And they've promised at a bare minimum to pay a certain amount. But because the delivery date may not be certain, or the name of the movie might not be certain, it might be called, you know, Die Hard Slasher 2 or Dire Harder Slasher 2. For those reasons, their accountants let them not put that on the balance sheet. And they don't put it in the press release when they report the quarter. But last quarter, that number hit $9.8 billion.
All right. We'll go into Netflix off camera because the stock is up 15% right now, and I want to get in eBay. I want you to tell me what's going on there.
So eBay, you know, the numbers today showed what we know, which is that eBay, the website and the auction business, is growing much more slowly than the PayPal business. And
well, we know that. That's why they're splitting it off, right?
And so, given that, we're going to see that separation. So the really big story is not earnings at all today. It's not that big a deal because the separation of these businesses, the cleavage of these two, there's one business.
How about that enterprise?
Happens at the close tomorrow.
The enterprise business, over $900 million?
It's just something to make these two businesses a little more clear for Wall Street, because it's what Wall Street's been asking for.
Cory, real quick, what is on eBay? Is it still people selling things out of their own garages to each other, or is that time past?
No, well, there's certainly a lot of that. There's a lot of fixed price sales that go on eBay. It's not always auctions. And there are a lot of businesses on eBay. If you want to think about it, think of Amazon's like Walmart. And eBay is like small businesses all across the world, where any size business can operate on eBay, whereas Amazon's rolling in there and trying to steamroll everyone out of the room.
All right, Bloomberg was Cory Johnson trying to out of town, out of the house, out of somewhere.
Flatten downtown.
All right, helping us understand what happens in Silicon Valley is Cory Johnson of Silicon Valley.